Okay, so today we're going to start the third part of urban sketching, which is drawing street scenes. We've already covered perspective drawing, and using that perspective drawing, we have made buildings. I'll just go over what we've done in the past. So, Anusha, you'll also get an idea of how we have applied the rules of perspective onto what we see as buildings, and then translate that onto paper. And the same thing is going to be used on a street scene as well. So I will go step by step. I will show you how to look at relevant points, lines, directions, see the distances between these different lines, and how to make quick sketches. We are not trying to make really advanced paintings. Remember, this is supposed to be in something like a journal. It needs to have a certain energy, spontaneity. So if it's almost as if you don't wait too long to get a perfect line. You just make the line and then make it work. That is maybe the easiest way I can explain to you how urban sketching should ideally work. Of course, if you have the time, if you have that kind of a mindset that you want to put in more details, you can surely do that. All I'm trying to say is that is not the ultimate goal. That is beyond the goal. So let's look at the pictures from the first and the second classes that we had in urban sketching. So this was what we did in the Saturday batch. Let's refresh our memory. We have a single point perspective shown in both these cases. We learned how to draw simple objects. And over here we have a two-point perspective. These two are the most common and most relevant perspective drawings that we will need. There are 3-point perspective, 4-point, 5-point, up to 7-point perspective, which is just somebody nerding out on how lines can work. We don't really need that. So single point perspective is usually when you are in a spot which allows for several features to grow or go on or either side of your eye line. And this same place, if you were to shift and come here and look towards this side, what you will probably see would be a 2-point perspective. So it all depends on what is in the environment. There are few things that will, there isn't a rule that says only if you have an XYZ, or if you have an X, then you will have a single point. If you have Y, then you'll have a 2-point perspective. It has mostly to do with where you are standing. So we went ahead and used a 2-point perspective to make a study of this building. We had a photograph of this building to refer from. And in this case, as you can see, the perspective goes well beyond what might be the horizon line. And this is usually the case. You may not have a distinguishable vanishing point when we are making buildings or urban scapes, because distances are really far away. So what we did is just figured out how these lines were drawn, at what angle, what distance, and then related to each other, how the others worked in creating this the illusion of this building. Today we are going to imagine just a street and how to draw the street. And in that I also want to show you some um, fun things to sketch so that you make your illustration look engaging. These illustrations can be used as, I guess, just documentation for wherever you've traveled, write a few notes here or there, maybe also as important memory that you want to carry back. So there's lots of things, and you can decide on the purpose of the sketch. For that matter, that illustration also is personal. So you are required to, if possible, make it in your style. And uh, Let me speak a little bit about how your style comes about. A lot of times, I've seen people, we all have learned from copying other pictures, looking at other artists' work, which, by the way, is how you can proceed. I have not known of anybody who, out of the womb, is able to draw something that is original. Everything we know comes from learning from other places. And then everyone says, oh, I can't get my drawing to look as good as this so and so person, and I feel really disappointed. And then you will struggle and make your art look like that person. Now you're really good at it, but then you say, but now it looks like that person. Where is my style? I want it to look like my style. So what has happened is, in the process of coming to the style that you really enjoy and you have tried to emulate, the things that you have said are wrong have been actually indications of what you could have done to arrive at your own style. So, whatever you see as something dissatisfactory could be the one thing that you do well versus the person that you're trying to emulate. So, say for example, all your lines are leaning towards the right. No matter what you do, all your lines lean to the right, and you keep saying, no, I want to make them straight, and you do it so well that now all your lines are perfectly straight. But then what you've missed out is that a little fork in the road where maybe all your drawings leaning to the right could have been a quirky style that you could have developed. And now trying to backtrack and say maybe that was good and maybe I should go back to that would just lead to a waste of time. The reason I'm saying this is because at the end of today's session, and maybe at the end of the month, I would like it if all of us can create sketches which look different, at least to some extent. And by that, it could be anything. Your proportions could be all over the place. You could be making things that are really too fat or too tall, or your line could be wobbly, anything. And all of that should be embraced as something that you can do today. It's not necessarily a mistake yet. And in art or in sketching, nothing is a mistake as long as you do it confidently and you stay by it. If you're embarrassed about it, then it starts becoming a mistake. So now all this lecture to say that if you find that there are some difficulties in making today's sketch, in which we are going to be making some people and people sitting or standing or walking, and your people are not looking like people, don't be too harsh on yourself. They might not look like people, they might look like goats or horses. So be it. So you are making a street scene in which there are horses that are sitting at a cafe, and that can be fun. All right, so be easy, and most importantly, uh, don't keep the eraser in your hand. Keep it away, keep it at bay, I would say. Originally, I would have told you to just throw it out of the window, but if you do that today, it might just make you a little nervous. If you feel you need to use an eraser, don't use it without understanding where. So make your lines, evaluate them. Those lines will help you figure out what you should be making. Make what you should be making. Then you know which line to erase. So in the live classes, when somebody asks for an eraser, I ask them, what do you want to erase? And they say, I don't know, but what I see is not right. So in what you see is not right, somewhere there is something that is right. If you do not identify that, erasing is not going to help, because in a blank space, you won't even know where to begin. All right, so try it out. I think we have enough people who've done this, so they can vouch for the fact that something about not using an eraser works in the long run. All right, let's look at the pictures we have to draw today. I have given a range of pictures, and all of these are, I guess, good for when what I would call something like an afternoon time sketch. So this would be when you You probably, this would be probably when you are sitting at lunch, when you're traveling. You can still sketch all of this. There will be people whom you can quickly sketch. Then this would be somewhere again in a similar place where you want to spend an afternoon outdoors, and you find a nice corner and you can plonk yourself and sketch that. This almost looks like in India, all these blue buildings. And this is just a play of color. There's hardly any detail. So you can make a very gentle painting with this, with just creating a colored, I guess, almost layers of colors to create this illusion. It would turn out to be a very beautiful, almost like a postcard. And the last one has got trees and green in it. So here, this also I've seen as pain point, how to draw trees. For some reason, trees are made in a very scratchy, scrabbly manner, which you put in a lot of effort into, and they still just don't give you joy. So maybe we can address this as well. So let's start off first with looking at this scene. I really want to show everyone how to make people. Now, in this case, for making people, you just look at shapes and you should be a little aloof from identifying them as people. That is the tougher part. What you will see is shapes. So you see shapes like that. And basically, that's all you need to draw. And you can embellish this with the clothing and the hair and things like that. So in a matter of about 15-20 lines, you should be able to sketch it out. Now you'll say, of course, this is so easy, you're drawing this on a photograph. So how can we draw it on a blank paper? So I'm going to demonstrate this, but I want you to see what I will be looking at. Once I've drawn this person, I will move to the other person by using the table, and I will make silhouettes like that. And everywhere I will just look for these kinds of silhouettes, more and more people. Once the people have been drawn, I have a baseline from where I can draw the building. And everything will be drawn in just basic lines first. We do not make all the decorative elements in one shot. So we'll draw these buildings, just these windows, and all the lines will be rather scribbly like, because we can't really see too much detail here. Okay, this is how we have to draw it. I'll make a screenshot of this. Okay, I can share this the way it is. Now looking at the images, let's talk about perspective. That's the thing that bothers everyone. So in this case, follow the lines that you see. What would be horizontal lines on the building? Just make a straight line that goes somewhere, wherever it wants to go. Now this is even coming here. Very weird. So you can see that there is absolutely no logic to this. But I'm thinking that there is a possibility that the vanishing point is somewhere over here. Then you have the building on the right, where you do have an edge which is going further. I don't even know where this is going. Maybe somewhere here. So it's almost like there are two vanishing points. One is working from here and one is working from here. The vertical lines, as you can see, are still straight, right? So this is at least thankfully the same. Most of the lines on the building are straight-ish, though we can tell that a little bit of perspective is happening over here, but really far away. And the eye line for us right now is the eye line of the people sitting. Now, how do we know this? You will at some point be able to see that the lines on the right of the building over here at the bottom start becoming straighter and straighter and straighter, and they'll all come down to this level. And wherever you see people's heads at the same level, you are probably at that level as well. So, say you're on a crowded street, everyone's eye level is more or less at your eye level, except people who are sitting and people who are short, like kids. So, if here in this area most heads are in the same place, you are probably seated with them also. Here you can see how the person who is far away could be the same height, but their head is higher. Then the people who are nearer to you, their head is higher and feet are lower. And this would not happen if you were standing. If you were standing, your eyes and their eyes would be at the same level. And these people would be seen as closer and then a little far away and then a little far away. Can you get that? Do you see that? So this is something that we can observe more of and get. So I want to demonstrate how to make this sketch very quickly. I want you to not really sketch with me. Give me like 5-10 minutes and then you can make your own sketch as well. Okay. Okay. All right, so let me share those lines, the image of those lines with you. You can use that later when you are making, um, when you're making your sketches.
Aditi, I'm not on the Saturday group. You'll have to share the
Oh, is
link.
it? All right, okay. Let me share all these images with you then.
Yeah.
You won't even have the reference images. For some reason, it's saying only 4 images have been sent. I'm trying to send you 7. Let me know if you get this, the image that we're working on. No, Anusha?
I think I have all the images which you shared.
All right, okay. We just need this one that's pertinent for the sketch right now. Okay, can everybody just observe this? I'm going to make a small image, not too big, but because then that way I'm not required to make too many details. Uh, you may or may not want to make a border to fit in. I would recommend start making the sketch and then put the border later on. So I'm starting with the side of the building that I see somewhere here. And I'm just looking at the building and making these lines. There are very few indications of where this line should be going, but I have a horizon line and I've drawn these lines like how I see them, literally eyeballing. So I've broken this up into three parts, and then I'm drawing the other structures that I see. But I want you to see how I'm actually holding the pencil pretty far away. And maybe I should illuminate this side for you guys. Yeah. So holding the pencil far away gives me an idea of where my lines need to go. And I'm making it like a very scratchy drawing. So when I look at a building, I will say, okay, if this is the vertical line, what else is attached to the central vertical line? There is a balcony here, there's a balcony here, but the balcony has got edges. It's not round, it has flat edges. And then it's got these shops underneath, which have got doors. One door is These doors and windows are right one above the other, and then there's something like a steeple on top. And when I'm making the lines on the sides, I'm only looking at what angle I see over there. And if you're not sure about it, you can always hold your pencil and figure out what angle should be made. There is a good chance that the angles will not be right. They won't be correct, I mean. But if they work for your sketch, that's good enough. So this is the basic drawing that you can make. Proportionately, my lower floor is looking too short, so I'm bindas shifting my eyeline lower because I need the picture to fit. So this is the fluidity you need for urban sketching. You don't necessarily have to rely on all the rules that we have spoken about. The rules are to know, which means that at some point you will say, my line over here cannot be shallower than my line over here. So between this and this, what is the angle I should make? This, because that is how perspective works. Now, whether it's like this or whether it's slightly more obtuse is a very moot point. You don't have to lose sleep over that. All the lines that you make are going to become like scaffolding, which will help to create an environment. Now, I can see that the awning on the right side is next to the flag. This is what I look out for. And it doesn't matter what the object is. I see this shape next to this shape or color, then something that looks like a shop front with a lot of display. At so and so point, I see an umbrella, make that umbrella. And from halfway up the what looks like the doorway, and at the point of the umbrella, we have people. And start with silhouettes of the people in the back. And then when you come to the front, look at how much of the back of this person you need to show. And then you can just make shapes like that. A parallelogram. This one is reading a paper, so is this one. And with respect to the people that you have drawn, all the heads have to be in the same place. So I almost made a mistake there, got the head too low. If you do get it low also, it's not the end of the world. So the line that you are drawing has to be in a particular direction, of a particular distance, and in a particular place. Evaluate only these things when you are making the sketch. Now, next to this lady's head is the image of a small man standing here. Next to him is another lady. and next to them is the lady that I showed you about. So, on as far as their feet are concerned, this is the angle that we make there. And on the right, although there is a building that is supposed to be the cafe, you are under no obligation to complete it. This is how an urban sketch should begin. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I'll take a picture also, but I would like you all to attempt this. Take about 15 minutes to do this. We have the time. Remember, don't erase first. Let me just take a picture of this. I'll just temporarily shut the video. Okay, I've shared the picture also, and I'll keep this in front of you to observe as well.
Aditi,
Any,
Aditi, since this is a rough sketch,
yeah.
uh, when do I know
No,
to stop?
this is not a rough sketch.
Okay,
This is going to be the
blocking the.
base, and we
Okay,
are going to now flesh this out in pen.
okay, okay.
Hi, Aditi. I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
I looked at your this image with
Uh-huh.
the lines and also what you've drawn.
Uh-huh.
But when I look at your pencil sketch, I can see the depth, like, the side of the building looks like the side of the building, the
Hmm.
looks like the front. In spite of, I think I have that perspective, but it's to me, mine doesn't look like it. I can't figure out what it is about it which is wrong.
Can you share it? I'll just
Okay.
put it on screen and then I'll show you what could be possible problems.
Yeah, I just sent it.
Yes. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's just that the lines are not steep enough. Let me show you what I mean.
Yeah.
So this is a good start. I like the stuff that you have placed, but I would suggest that you can make this line a little steeper, this
Okay.
one steeper still, and this one even more, and end the building over here. The umbrella is somewhere like this, and you would still have the people in the correct place.
Okay.
This is fine.
So redo on the same, or because
On no, on the same. Redo on the same, make the corrected lines, and then you can erase the ones that are gone. So make one line over here, erase these two lines. Then make one line here, erase this block, and so on. So as you proceed, it will get uh, better and better.
okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay. So that's why I gave you these three things. If there's anything off, it's only with these three things. There's really no magic to it. Let's see. Others have also shared their pictures. Zai has shared. Okay, good. Yeah, everyone has made this part a little wider, I think. Let me show everybody's. Oh, okay, so here we have the building. There is a slight edge on the building. There is a corner. It's not exactly flat.
Yeah,
And then you have this go slightly steeper. And the edge of the building also is just a little less. But this is fine. This is fine. And this thing happens because in our heads we see the building as one which has parallel floors. So you
mm,
don't know what angle exactly is right. And when you see something at a certain angle which is so um, extreme and you make it on paper, we just doubt ourselves saying, surely this will be wrong. And that
yeah,
is the mistake. Then the second part is, see, the ground floor is pretty tall, and the heads of the people are by the just maybe above the ground floor here. So that's the placement of the people is a little off. So you can bring all of those people down here,
okay,
and these people then can come like this because the doorway is somewhere here. So you've got the height or the placement of the doorway fine, but in relation to that, the people are not in the right position.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one. Ritika, this is very nice. Very nice. So,
I
huh.
I saw the proportion of where the person is sitting and पीछे वाला building there is a I could see that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so you have drawn this from the perspective of the person standing.
हाँ,
Because you see, sabke sir are at a different
हम्म,
place,
हम्म,
whereas they should all be in the same line
yeah,
because you're seated. However, having said that, this is not looking bad.
हम्म,
It may not look accurate, but this can work without changes also.
हम्म,
I would say that you can make the line, these lines more acute. Sorry, not acute. Every time I say acute, I realize that the angle is actually obtuse. So here you can make the angles more extreme. Huh? That it's become a little flatter than it should be,
हम्म,
I feel. Just
हम्म,
review it. But even if you don't, because of this, the squiggly lines, it still works.
हम्म, ठीक है.
Okay, now we have to pull out a pen. Don't use a pencil anymore. And we start fleshing the details out with a pen from the foreground
आदि
to the background.
आदिती 1 मिनिट माझं बघ ना.
अरे तुमचं राहिलंच की अहो विसरले मी सॉरी हा मला वाटलं संपले सगळे करेक्ट हां हे पण छान झालंय सो इथे कसं झालं आता तुमचा
हम्म,
ही जी लाईन आहे बघा ती
हाँ,
थोडीशी आडवी झाली आहे ही
ओके.
ह्याच्यापेक्षाही अजून अं,
स्टीप पाहिजे ती. हाँ,
अशी पाहिजे
हो
आणि
हो.
ह्या पण लाईनी अजून स्टीप पाहिजे
बरोबर आहे. आणि इकडची बिल्डिंगचा हा पार्ट पण थोडा ब्रॉड झालाय.
आणि
मला एकच फक्त वाटत होतं की आय लेवलला यांची डोकी बरोबर आलीत का, म्हणजे ते महत्वाचं वाटत होतं मला की
हो हो ते आलेत पण
हा.
एकाचं डोकं खूप मोठं झालंय हा जो
अच्छा. हा,
हा जो माणूस मागे
ऍक्च्युली
बसलाय
तो
ना
दूर.
तो थोडासा दूर आहे हा त्यामुळे
हो,
त्याचं
राईट राईट.
थोडस बदलायला पाहिजे
हा, ठीक आहे ठीक
त्याचं इथे काहीतरी
आहे.
असं असं येईल आणि त्याच्या पुढे पण अशी लोक येतील थोडी थोडी मग जी
हा.
छत्री आहे ती थोडी लांब आहे आणि थोडी लहान आहे अरे
ओके.
तर थोडे थोडे ऍडजस्टमेंट्स करायचे पण ते
ठीक आहे
समजा
ठीक आहे.
तुम्ही नाही केले तरी सुद्धा चालणार आहे
हम्म,
बायकांचं फक्त प्रपोर्शन बघा ह्यांचा कदाचित
हम्म.
पाय इकडे थांबेल आणि ह्यांचा इकडे थांबेल हे जरा खूप मोठ्या झाल्या त्या बाय
ओके 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 ओके.
एवढा थांबेल ओके
हा.
ऑलराईट
हम्म,
हे पाठवू का
ठीक आहे.
तुम्हाला का
नाही नाही, आहे माझ्या लक्षात, नको पाठवूस.
ओके ठीक okay so let's begin with
I
the
have one question before we start. Sorry if you've
sure.
already did this.
No, go ahead.
Why are we starting from the background? Like, when we started with eye level, I would assume that we'd start with the people because that's at the eye level, right? And not the building.
It doesn't matter. You can start from anywhere.
Okay. Oh,
So I would start, generally, I start from that which I can see so accurately that I can draw it. And in this case, I felt that giving the environment to the people made more sense. But you can obviously go from people to the background as well.
got it.
Perfectly fine.
And what did you mean by the direction, distance, place? What is the place? I forgot.
Placement. Let me just change that.
Ah,
So, where is your line and where you have to draw it? These are the three factors. You have to know the direction, the distance, and the placement of your line. That's it.
got it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now let's draw the people. So I have a problem with not making too many details. In the sense, I make far too many details, and I want to try to show you the urban sketchers way, where the details are uh, not really that important as much as the overall effect of the picture. So I'm going to use my fountain pen. This is a cheapo click fountain pen. So the ink keeps stopping. and I have to dip it in water to use it. So I want to first I will make this chair. Now when I'm making this, I am focusing only on the chair and looking at each line to figure out, is this where I want to make it? And you'll see that I'm not really trying to make it like a perfect chair or anything, just creating the place where this body is going to be seated. So multiple lines are drawn. They may or may not be straight, and I often at least draw as much detail as needed for the picture to look good. So I will now focus on the lady, and at the very least, I would make a silhouette of a body. And here it definitely helps if you have done a little bit of figure drawing like we have done in recent months. The video of that will also be available, because then you are able to create these shapes knowing how the hand works and the arm works. And very often the frustrating bit is not getting those nuances in the line. So beyond this point now, if I see her legs, I'll make them. If I don't see them, I won't make them. I don't see anything else over here. And as far as the legs are concerned, I can just make them like that. Even things like papers and all, just look at the shape that you see and try to create that. Now, here's where placement comes. Where should the next part be? Look at the distance between the paper held by the lady on the left and the lady on the right. And look at the angle made, the direction in which the line has to go, and make it that way. So, this is a very objective way of looking at anything around us. And the goal is that you should be able to see this even in real world. So you see, I am keeping my pen on the paper. You may not be able to do this with a micron pen because the ink might just bleed. So when you're drawing everything, as much as it's important to draw it in relation to the other lines you've drawn, at that moment you need to look at only that bit. So at the moment I'm drawing the leg of the chair, I have to just look at that leg and ask myself what direction I'm going to take. And then I have to ask myself, with respect to this leg and this leg, or this item and this item, where do I place the line and where do I stop? Now we've got these two anchors, so to speak, and from a point where this lady's hand starts, I'm drawing the shoulders of the person sitting behind. Conveniently, his shoulders come up to this lady's. Oh, this has gone too tall. All right, I'm going to make him hunch a little. The end of these ladies' table and that fellow's chair. Now I absolutely nerd out on making these little tiny details, but it's just something that I wanted to show you. If you also enjoy it, You can take the time to do it like this, but you can mostly just scribble your way through. Since this is almost like an anonymous picture, nobody is interested in how the people are looking. If you happen to make a picture of your friends, then maybe they will have a say in whether or not it's looking good enough. So the people in the far distance can literally be made like this. You just get their shapes right.
Also, I think this is an AI image because none of the
Faces are.
faces or yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
it could.
easier actually.
Yeah, it could be. Nowadays, you can't even tell what is what. But I mean, for our sake, it doesn't matter. In fact, I have been thinking that I could generate my own um, reference images also. I don't have to rely on any search engine. So each of the other elements beyond this point will emerge from some point over here or the other. And just to make sure that you are on the right track, you can use a pencil to make the first part. Like there are two doors here. I want to use a pencil to make sure that I'm not making it too big or in the wrong place. The directions of the lines are right, placement is correct. But you don't even need to do that really. This is what I mean. I get carried away by the details, but that really is not the intent of urban sketching. At this point, you will notice the different angles of the terraces. And also the details. So there is a railing, and the railing ends somewhere over here where another thing begins, another building begins. There the angle changes a little bit. And between that and this is where we have this umbrella. And everything beyond this point is so hazy. It really doesn't, you don't even see so many details. Now, when you come to the second floor, you will notice that there is this little ledge for the terraces above. And the lines you make here, you can also make them a little scrabbly. I'll show you with a micron pen. It's slightly different from how an ink pen would look. And in these, you will notice that the windows are not exactly in the center, and that's very important to note. The Because of the protrusion, the balcony will look as if it is a little forward, and different places in the balcony, the windows will appear in different location with respect to the balcony. but from floor to floor, they would be above and below the same area unless there is a recess somewhere.
I have a question, Aditi.
Yes.
How do you, so we haven't focused anywhere on the shadows. Is that also with when we are doing this kind of urban sketching, do we also sketch those with the pen, or is that something, the different element that brings it in?
Okay, could you specify which shadows you
Like
feel?
for example, the top floor window, it appears to have the balcony appears to have a shadow below it, right?
Hmm.
Like the
Yeah, this section you mean.
yeah.
One? Yeah. Well, you don't need to address that right now
Okay.
because it's a very subtle shadow. It's not, even then, even if it were a very bold shadow, this is not the point we focus on it. Right now, we are building the structure,
Okay.
and once the structure is done, we will make the details like the tiles and things. Oh, now look at this. My door has gone a little to the right of where it should be. But I'm just going to detail the hell out of this so that I'm going to mesmerize the viewer so much.
Okay.
Won't be able to tell that I have goofed up.
So I don't have a fountain pen, so I use a micron.
Yeah, use a micron, use a micron. And I absolutely love these Art Deco like detailing in buildings. So even if it doesn't have any specific thing, I guess I'll just manufacture my own and do it also sometimes, just for the fun of it. But they do lend a lot of interest to the building. That's why the most boring topic to make are modern buildings. I don't know why people have even bothered making those buildings at all. Because all the modern designers. Okay, so I am just going on and on, but if you have a question, please just stop me. So wherever you start, after a point, you'll just start seeing shapes. Like over here, I don't know the details of anything, but I see some window panes. Here I don't see any details, but I presume that there is some doorway because there's a door over here. And we'll end up just making the kinds of shapes that you are able to see. In this case, we see them in the photograph, but in reality, you would probably see them in the building that you are facing, but you won't be able to tell what that detail is. So you interpret it the way you see it and just draw that shape. And that is enough because no matter how much detail you put in, the brain is great at filling in the blanks. So if I just leave it like that, and if I were to make something like this, just these two lines, the brain will tell you that there is something about this building. I just need to make this. So we, I feel, get very carried away with over explaining things. Uh, I guess the reason for that is because we're just unfamiliar with abstraction and how abstraction works in art. But have faith that the brain will complete the necessary information.
I have one more question.
Yes.
When I'm drawing with the pen, with the pencil, it's easier because I tend to make short lines, like
Mm-hmm.
stop and draw again.
Mm-hmm.
But pen, like, it leaves a smudge every time I stop. Do you recommend making long strokes or just like, it doesn't matter?
You can lift the pen temporarily and then put it right back down and draw it. So if you make short lines, make the short line, lift the pen, put it
Ah,
right back down, make the next short line, pick it up. So change the way that you draw with the pen. You can
wonderful.
still continue to draw short lines. However, if your short line is going to be like this, then
Uh-huh.
don't bother making the lines at all, because that is going to make your picture look horrid. So make one confident line, even if it's short. Stop, get up off the page, and then draw again.
Okay.
Okay. So those short lines are like training wheels. You feel that you are drawing better, but unfortunately it just shows incompetence. It never works out for the artist. The beauty of our urban sketch is going to be in these squiggly lines. And I'm just making scribbles for all the other ornamentation around the windows, these lovely molding pieces and things like that. Now, I don't even have to make the building on the right. Nothing is necessary. Even just this much is perfectly okay. This is my street scene. I'm just making a quick picture. I'll shut my video for a second, please. Okay, how far have we come? We have 10 more minutes. Can I show you a quick painting made from this?
Yeah.
Okay. As usual, we should look at just putting down color that, well, you can say, sorry, you just have to stain the paper. And I'm not going to erase any pencil lines, I'm going to keep them because I want to show you how the pencil lines add another layer, a very charming layer to your painting. So first and foremost, we can put in, I just want you to see how I'm applying the paint. We can put in a sky, and part of it is also touching the building. I would normally turn the book around to do this part, but I want to keep it upright for everyone to see where exactly I am putting the paint. Now this is fairly watery, so it is going to run into the next section, and that color is going to be a slightly pinkish shade. So I just take whichever red I feel might give me that shade. I already had a yellow ochre in the palette, and I'm using the same to create that rose pink like color. Maybe a little orange might help as well. Now this, how to figure out what color to use, is again something that you can learn through the regular classes. We do this in all the classes at some point or another. Now even in this, the colors are not really even everywhere. In some places it almost looks like it's a light yellow. So you are free to add these extra colors. And the bottom is a beautiful aqua, so that color I'll make to match. That will be emerald green and cerulean blue. But I also want to make a light and shadow effect there, so I'll put that color and then drag it around with water. So it'll give my painting some focus. And then use maybe a yellow ochre for the ground. Now I can also use a yellow ochre base for everything inside, like the insides of the doorways, and then come back and paint on that. There's one part I have missed painting here. So you see that the colors are all going to do their own thing. That can add more character to the painting. Now while the background is drying, I will use a slightly thinner brush to fill in details on the people. And many of these will just come from the colors that we already have. Like this lady's top will come from this color. Maybe a bluish color for this gentleman's shirt. Dark black there. This lady is wearing grey. Maybe grey pants. So the coloring that I'm doing almost seems like how children color. They just take paint and then just Thapadav just put it in different places. But the difference between them and us is that you are putting it more consciously. Skin tones can also be created using just visual cues. And remember that all these are going to dry and become much lighter. So the risk is fairly low. I have used a yellow ochre and light red in this case. And the places where you don't have color, for example, just go and become highlights. Now, the same color that the person is wearing is reflected on the lady's table. It's a metal table. Now, the fun bit is that there are very extreme shadows on the ladies on the floor, and that's something we can paint. So, this becomes the first layer. First layers are usually much lighter. There is a lot of water in those, and as those layers dry, you can start adding deeper colors with thinner brushes. Oh, I've painted over the yellow umbrella. I could come back and paint some more. Even the newspaper has got a little tint. So the first brush was a number 11. Second brush, I think, is a number 4 or 6. And beyond this point, I will start using a number 2, number 0, and make the colors a little deeper. So here I can use a cobalt blue to put in some shadows in these places. Now this is what you were asking for, Anusha. Look at the picture more intently and you'll see that it's possible that one side has got more shadows than the other side. So you can't universally go ahead and put the color everywhere. The same color can also be used for windows. And you can intensify this color by using a little bit of black as well. Not all over, but in a few places. So this will start making your painting stand out more and more. Now there are very beautiful effects, like there's a glow on this lady's hair. In time you will be able to throw color on paper in such a way that that glow can be created. But for now, what you can do is create paint it in such a way that you can create highlights at least. So don't paint all the hair, just a few parts of it, and leave the other parts unpainted. Put a shadow underneath the arm. It can be brown, blue, whatever. Put a shadow behind the lady's back And I think she's wearing some dark colored pants. There, make those. So little by little, you can increase the details that you are putting here. And I like it when, even if the picture is very vague, the details or the attempt to make the details is earnest, and that creates a wonderful abstraction in your urban sketch. It almost looks like this is real people sitting. You can tell, of course, that they are not real, but it gives such a nice feeling of, what am I seeing here? How is this artist managed to show me so much? I have felt that in a lot of urban sketches, where you can see all the shapes are inaccurate, and yet the overall effect is magnificent. And let's see if my yellow will work. So if I want the yellow to really stand out, I can continue to paint this in 3-4 more layers easily. And another thing that can be done is also add shadows. So just add shadows like that. Shadows of the buildings. And shadows of these people as you see them. So these would be the first 3 layers, or possibly up to even 20 layers that you can make. And you can keep going back and forth. After doing some painting, if you feel that you want to add more lines in pen, there's nothing to stop you from doing that. Like for example, I can see that there is more detail here that I can see and I can make. So maybe that might make the buildings look more interesting. So go ahead. And also maybe you have an extra day in this place and you feel you would really like to spend more time studying the architecture. So every little thing you add adds to the picture. And the place where you stop can be the place where you are completely exhausted, saying, I don't even see any more lines anymore, or complete satisfaction. Finally, I feel all the features are in and I have done justice. So that's up to you. And both places are good to stop at. Okay? Now, one last thing is sometimes I use a big fat pen to create a silhouette of the whole picture. Oh, my big fat pen decides not to work today. And to some extent, I think this is a good cheat to bring focus to the part of the painting that you are satisfied with. Just lovely outline with a 0.8 or even fatter pen. A 1.4 also is perfectly fine. You can also do that to the people. Just go around there. The silhouette of the entire bunch. Something like that. So that keeps the picture, gives the picture its importance, or parts of the picture more importance. All right.
Beautiful.
I love how you have not colored the background people.
Yeah, I've
That
just
makes
left
it look so great. The focus is on the building and the
on the
people
building.
in the front. Yeah.
Correct. So, I and also many of these things happen quite accidentally in the beginning.
Mm.
So you don't, um, what not just in the beginning, but even later, when sometimes you see in a finished picture, the artist has decided, I'm not going to paint the people. They have come to that decision after considering it because they've said, let me do the rest and see. And if this works, then I don't need to show the people. And they've decided they don't need it. Okay, I'm just going to stop recording now and then I'll take more questions.